voices. Okay, I'm done. But I voice Jinx in League of Legends, both regular and Star Guardian version. I'm Sayaka Miki in Madoka Magica, Lisbeth in Sword Art Online, and currently you can hear me as Neferpitou in Hunter x Hunter, and Felix in ReZero when that comes out. So yeah, and usually how I just do this, just let you guys ask me questions, because otherwise I'll just read fan fiction on my phone. So yeah, just ask me Q&A, questions, whatever you want to know. Three things I'll mention. Number one, questions about stuff coming out and whether or not I'm in it, I cannot answer because of NDAs, and I like to keep working with people that I've worked with, and I don't want to make them angry. So I can't, basically if you did ask me, I'd have to lie, and I don't like lying. So just, if it's a question like, hey, so-and-so anime that hasn't been dubbed, would you like to be in that? I can answer that. But specific things that are coming out, I can't say if I'm in or not, so I'd rather not have to lie if I can help it. Number two, just because this is funny to me and it keeps coming up. Number one, yes, I do know that Felix is a boy in ReZero. It's surprising how many times that's come up. Number two, I consider Neferpitou genderless. There we go. So, questions. Yes?
I know you're as Puck in Berserk. What is your favorite moments with Puck as Berserk?
Is Cupid doll moments for one, which I think are just so adorable when it switches back and forth.
Oh my god, yes.
Just like that little, it's like...
I just love the fact that, even when Guts is in his darkest downward spiral, Puck is there to cheer him up.
He loves, KG texted me at one point, he's just like, I love this horse conversation. And I'm like, wait, what was that? It's like, oh right, it's like, shouldn't you thank the horse? Thank you, horse. Good. He's just like, this is like, I love going back and forth with KG on that, because he was really happy to be a part of that too. And he's like, your Puck is amazing. I was like, thank you. And I'm roommates with I'm roommates with the voice of Isidro, because we've been roommates forever, so we kind of go back and we're like, what'd you record today? Oh, I got this scene. It's like, did you hear the bomb I dropped you in the session? Yeah. I was so mad at him. He dropped a outtake bomb on me. Sometimes when I'm recording, I get to hear the other actor if they recorded before me, and I'm just waiting for my line. It's like, okay, here's your next Puck line. And I hear it in Japanese, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. And so Isidro talks before me, and suddenly, for some reason, he's saying, yeah, what's it like in the backfields of Indiana? Miss Director, yeah? Tell Eric when he comes in after me, I'm gonna hurt him. Okay. I like working. Puck is a great character, I love working on that. So, another question. Oh god, that's hard. I have many. Probably Sailor Moon is one of the tops, because that is the first one I ever watched. I was that kid in second grade running home and watching the dub version after school and being like, I don't know what this is, but it's pretty and I love it. Other favorites. I love School Live. I loved it to death. Like, to the point that I haven't bought box set in a while. I asked my parents for like stuff for Christmas, but like that one I was like, I need School Live, I need to own that one. And my favorites, because I watched so many. I own so many. I'm also very behind though. There's a lot of stuff I've watched. I liked Utena a lot. It was like one of the first ones I bought too on tape, back when tapes were a thing and you could either get it dubbed or subbed, and the subbed tapes were always $5 more than the dubbed tapes for some reason. It's like growing up as an anime fan back in the 90s. Remember, did I finish Slayers? I got through 2 seasons of Slayers, I like that. I'm trying to think. I can't say that's one of my favorites. Like, what are my favorite animes? Like the stuff that I love, because I just sort of like, I like that show. Now I'm annoyed.
Dragon Ball Z.
Thinking, because I know there's one that's like, that was like a thing.
Oh, I loved fruit baskets. I loved it. Made me cry many times. Just like sitting there bawling at the last, like, no, go after him. No. Oh, why is he being a meanie to her now? No, this is terrible. Why are you doing? It's like just stop breaking my heart. It was terrible. It was a gut punch. So I loved fruit baskets a lot. Trying to think, I own so many now. I loved Madoka. I loved it a lot, not just because I worked on it, but again, because of Sailor Moon, I have an affinity towards magical girl shows. I watched Wedding Peach, for Christ's sake. I watched a lot of Wedding Peach, and I have no shame for it. It's just like, wedding dresses? Cool, go with it. But yeah, Madoka was a show I just love in general because I love all the trippiness of it, and I love the trolly nature of it. That's sort of like, you like magical girls. Here's a show. They're friends, and it's all this fun, and they're triumphing in the third episode. Oh, why? It's like, that show trolls you. It trolls you for 3 episodes until it's like, this is what we're really about. And now here's the real ending theme. Yeah, that cute stuff we were playing the first 2 episodes at the end of the show. No, that's not the real ending theme. This one is. Enjoy. And things just got really dark. So I love that. I do love magical girl shows. I can't help it. It's an affinity. So there's that. I swear there's gonna come a point later with an unrelated question where I'm gonna be like, wait, that show too! Okay. So, next question. Yes.
So, do you also play League of Legends, or do you?
I tried. Not that good. I actually did, my friend Keiji, again, is a part of this web YouTube channel called Voices of Gaming, and we've done, it started because a bunch of us who were in Skullgirls, like, got together and started playing the game, and did fairly well, actually, in terms of views, and he grabbed me and, an adult film actress who's actually really good at the game to play together, and I sucked. I'm that person who ran through the jungle and I found her and I'm like, I'm just gonna start attacking her. Oh God, I'm made of glass, this is terrible, why did I do this? She's playing freaking Misfortune, I got my ass hit. I got very much taken apart. I'm not the biggest fan of games where people have to rely on me. It makes me kind of nervous, but I did try it a little bit and I'm terrible at it. Yeah, I'm that person who's just playing MMOs being like, can we join your party? I'm not in a party, and no, I don't want to talk to you. I'm gonna go kill my 10 spiders on my own and just do my stuff. Yeah, no, I don't care if this mission requires a team. I'm just not gonna do it then. I'm so glad, like, my current guy and me, he, because they finally got me to play Final Fantasy 14, and I just play with him. Because I can handle being with him, and if I mess up, it's fine. But since he's a super high level too, he's sort of like, okay, now you need to do this and this, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, okay, all right. It's like, cool, I can actually enjoy this MMO with someone else, just not other people. Because I don't want to be relied on, just leave me alone. You'll be disappointed. So yeah, I did try though, of course, as Jinx. And maybe as Gavin at one point when it was way early before I was even cast and trying to figure it out, and I was terrible. Next question. Yes.
If you're a Hunter x Hunter character versus your Sword Art Online character, who you think would win in a fight?
Neferpitou is gonna kill Lisbeth. It's not gonna be pretty. I'm sorry to say. No, it's not gonna work out. It's gonna be bad. So in game, she might be okay. Interesting. Next question. You're late.
Yeah.
Did you bring snacks at least?
Uh-oh.
Can't even give me a bag of chips, man. Jeez.
Up here and everything. Next question. Yes. I always liked Sailor Saturn. Even before I realized there was a Sailor Saturn, I was just sort of like, man, I sort of like, Sailor Saturn, that sounds like it'd be a cool Sailor Saturn. And I like made her up in my head, and I'm like, oh, wait, they actually have one. Oh, she's even cooler than I thought she was. So that, honestly, it's weird. It's my favorite, one of my favorite shows, but I can't say, I say favorite, but I'm like, not like that attached. I never had exactly a favorite character in that show, to be honest. I liked all the characters, and I loved the show, but sort of like a character where I'm just like, that character, that one, that's my favorite. I know, it's sort of hard to say in terms of Sailor Moon. And the Sailor Starlights too, because they're just kind of cool, and they have a cool theme. Their theme music is really cool. I love that transformation theme music. So yeah, but yeah, Sailor Saturn, I'd say.
Next question.
More late people.
Yes.
Oh, I was just saying hi.
Oh, well, you have to raise your hand after the question, man. Okay.
If there was like an anime show that like you would like to like voice someone in, like what show would it be?
I'd love to do anything in Sailor Moon. Like, it wouldn't matter to me. It could be a big character for all I cared. It'd be cool because that was my childhood, and that's kind of a big part of why I'm a voice actor today. So that'd be cool. There's this new anime popping around. Like, apparently something about like it's like dragons. There's like some new anime where like they ride
Dragon Ball
these
Super?
adorable dragon, like not adorable, but like dragons that sort of have like Gundam stuff on them, but they're still super cute dragons with like these big eyes, and I'm like, oh, can I be a part of this show? Because this looks really, really, like their pilots are all these young girls, and it's got a really nice sort of Alien 9 style to the design of the characters. It's not like super cutesy wootsy, but it's sort of more like if you know Alien 9, it sort of looks like that a little bit to me. It's like, I'd like to be a part of that. That show looks like it's gonna be really adorable and cute and fun. I always wanted to voice Yo in Shaman King, but they already dubbed that. But I was like, if they made another, it's like, can I audition for Yo? Because I wanted to voice him. That would have been cool. Yeah, there's all sorts of shows. I always thought it'd be fun to be female Rama too, but again, that's another one that's been like, they're not gonna make, well, you never know, they could, for all I know, be like, hey, we're making a new Rama half. Is it the 90s again? It must be, because they just made a new Sonic. Sailor Moon came back.
Yeah, they redubbed Sailor Moon.
It's like, am I back in the 90s? What's going on? Now, who knows, maybe they would make more Ranma. It is one of the most popular animes. So yeah,
Next question.
wait, have you asked one yet?
Okay.
Technically her question then.
She wanted to know, in Sword Art Online, if you had one character that you would say you would bring back to life, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh, that hurts though. Sounds like good characters. Probably Klein. I kind of ship Lisbeth Klein a tiny bit. Though, according to my guy, he's been playing the Sword Art games, and he's like, Klein's terrible in the games. And I'm like, no! I like him in the show. I don't want him to be a jerk. Like, no, but I like Klein. I do. So, yeah. Hey?
Yeah. Who are your favorite voice actors that you like to work with in the future?
Oh, God, that's a big list. I mean, sort of those people I'm just looking at starry-eyed like, oh my God, I've been listening to you since I was a kid. I mean, Jennifer Hale, Steve Bloom, Phil Lamar.
He was just here last year.
Yeah, it was.
He's a super nice guy
Oh,
too.
yeah, he's cool.
Tom Kenny, Rob Paulson,
Ooh, legends.
yeah, like there's all sorts of people. I'm just like, dear God, I grew up listening to you, and I someday might work with you. That blows my mind. In terms of people, I like working with Dino Andrade a lot. He's one of my very favorite people. He's because we do Barbie Dreamtopia together. We're hedgehog husband and wife, and it's just so fun to work with him. And he was the Scarecrow in the first Arkham Asylum game, and it was amazing. I love him. And it's always just fun to work with friends in general. But yeah, those are a few names.
Nice.
Next question. Yes.
Do you or did you play
voice Skullgirls, and if so, did you make Peacock?
Of course, to both. Like, as I said, my friend Keiji runs a YouTube channel with another friend called Voices of Gaming, and one of the first things we did is all the Skullgirls characters played against each other. You can hear Eric Fitzgerald basically have a freak out on me because I'm spamming buttons and I'm winning, and she doesn't know how to counter me. It was really funny, actually. She started screaming at me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Did you have
No.
to play your own characters?
I try to. I'm actually decent with Peacock, and nowadays when I do play, I usually run like a Peacock Squiggly team because I like to start with Squiggly, and she's sort of, even button mashing, she's very fluid and flowy, and I sort of like that. And then I keep Peacock and back up because it's just like, all her moves are quarter circle things. It's like quarter circle kick, quarter circle is like, all those moves are just that, so it's like really easy to remember. So I do, yeah. I'm not great at fighting games. I've been good at like one fighting game, and that was Soul Calibur 2, because when I was at college in Indiana, they had like Japanese game cabinet, and there was like conquest mode, and you could like pick a character, and then the game would like save how you played, and if you were, and like you become a general, and I was so good at that game for some reason. I had a rank, I had a general Talon, I had a general Keelik, I had a general Ivy. I don't know how I got good at Ivy, but I was like doing the sword moves, like, oh my god, I made it work, I'm doing combos, what's happening, why am I good at this? I was like, great. I wasn't good at that one guy with the short sword, he moved too slow. What was his name? I don't remember. He had red hair or something. It was okay, but I didn't like working with him. So yeah, next question. I totally tangented on that. Yes.
Do voice actors ever just get together and like do impersonations of each other?
Well, we do that regardless of whether we're getting together or not. Maybe not impersonations of each other, but you put enough voice actors in a room, we just start trying to one up each other and do stupid accents and stuff. I'm just like, oh my god. Not like of each other though. It's like sometimes it feels a little mean too. It's just like, don't do that. But yeah, I mean, 99% of my friend group is all my fellow voice actors anyway. So it's like I live with Eric Kimmerer, who's Alibaba and Magi and Ryuji and Toradora and Biscuit and Gundam My Blood Orphans, and I live with also roommates with Bill Rogers, who's the current voice of Brock on Pokemon and does a bunch of Pokemon, and he's Urian in Street Fighter 5, and yeah, I seem to always live with voice actors. And pretty much a lot of my friends are voice actors because that's just who I run with. It's not really like I choose to be friends with voice actors. That's just who I know. So yeah.
Next question. Yes.
Forgive me if this question's already been asked. How did you get started in the voice acting?
How did I get started, or how do you?
Well, how did you?
Basically, most voice actors I talked to were like, get a theater degree. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went to Indiana University, I got a theater degree. I spent, I think, 2-3 years after graduating working at Walmart and trying to save money. I did not save enough, not for LA. I should have saved more. But after I worked there for a while, I moved to LA, and that was basically a very slow process from there of taking classes and meeting people and networking, and basically sort of making the people who are going to send me auditions aware that I'm a new player in the game and you can trust me, give me a chance. And from there, slowly but surely, was just sort of getting auditions, and then from there, slowly but surely, I started booking, and then it's not a terribly interesting story, and that's just my story, because there's no bullet point list I can give anyone and be like, here's how you be a voice actor, because everyone's story is different. I mean, I've heard so many voice actors who were like, oh, I've been doing theater since I was a kid, and that's how I got started. And I was just like, I didn't do theater till I was a senior in high school. I'm sorry, I'm slow. So yeah, but basically it's a lot of meeting people and making people realize that making people aware of what your talent level is, and that you can be professional and trusted, and hey, maybe we can give her a chance and see how she does, and then from there it's just a question of luck and numbers in terms of booking things, because there's a lot of other people auditioning too. Sort of like that. It's not very concise.
Next question.
Worst role?
Yeah, worst role.
I wouldn't say I've had a worse role. Maybe just more like it was a tough session. I guess the worst role, I don't even remember what this thing, it was like, it was either a Korean or a Chinese mobile game that was never going to really see the light of day in America. I've done a lot of those, like for some reason, Asian clients want American voices in like their mobile games, and so there's a lot of I've done several of those where it's just like, this is never gonna come out in America, but whatevs. And it was very frustrating session because it was one of those cases where the client didn't really have a clear idea of what they wanted, so that they're basically sitting there making me do a bunch of versions of the line, and it's sort of like, this is kind of a waste of time, guys, you should know what you want. So then instead of me wasting my time giving you 5 different takes, I can give you 2-3 takes in the range of what you want, and we can move on. But it's like, yeah, even the director, and because the clients were over Skype, they were China. So the director and the engineer at one point were kind of looking at me like, sorry, just like, it's all right, I'm getting paid, it's cool. But it's just that mind of like, oh, come on, guys, don't make me do this again. You had the right take 3 times ago. So yeah, that was it's a little frustrating when the people you're trying to do this for don't know what they want, so you're basically kind of spending all this time helping them figure it out, when it's sort of like, maybe you should have figured out what you wanted before you cast me, because what if what I do isn't what you wanted, then everybody's time is being wasted. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
When you were working on Monica Match, how long were you voice acting before that, like time span of project?
Do you mean how long I was in the business before I got that gig?
Just how long were you working?
Oh, the show itself. I want to say October. It's hard to say because with that show, we recorded by volume. So, like Volume 1 was 4 episodes, Volume 2 was 3, Volume 4 was like 4 or something. And it's sort of generally how I tend to record. I've recorded a lot of anime, we kind of go by chunks. So it was sort of this case of we recorded a couple episodes, then we stopped, and then a month or so later we started up on the next volume, and then a month or so later we started up the next episode. I want to say, let's see, I did like 4 hour, 3 hour session. It's hard to guesstimate. I had a lot of sessions because Sayaka was a very heavy character in the show. But it is honestly, I want to say that process probably took about 5 months, maybe. I mean, also the movies came later, and so there was more to do for that. I guesstimate about 5 months.
Next question. Anybody? Yes.
When did you recently with the Hunter x Hunter character when was it that you got casted for that, or like, well, like how, like, because it was dubbed as they go along because it's being currently aired on Toonami. So
Oh yeah, I mean, Hunter, God, they've been dubbing Hunter forever, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to cast that early back when the show was first being dubbed, because
no, I'm talking about like the one that's currently airing on Toonami. Like, was that was
oh, that was done a long time ago.
like you did that right from the beginning, or did they, because it's been consistently like airing the episodes right from the beginning?
They usually get those episodes dubbed, I'd say maybe 5-ish months in advance before it's got to air. I feel like I started dubbing I got cast for Neferpitou, I want to say somewhere around October last year, I think is when I started up. And as you know, that first episode with them didn't air, I think, until like
This year.
5-ish weeks ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, especially for TV, they usually tend to make sure to get those episodes up fairly done up in advance, so everything's kosher and edited and, you know, sound produced and stuff, so. But yeah, from there it's pretty much been kind of consistent. We just go from episode to episode to episode. So yeah.
Next question. Anybody is? Still have 30 minutes.
I keep
Yes.
asking questions.
Probably a stupid question.
Go ahead.
If you read manga, what's your favorite?
That's not a stupid question at all. Jeez. Have you seen my bookshelf? No, of course not. It's like 1.5 shelves of like what I consider normal stuff, and like, you know, normal books, and everything else is manga and comics. Oh God, manga. One of my favorites, and this was before Tokyo Pop died, because Tokyo Pop hurts me. There was one called Immortal Rain that I loved to death, and it never finished. That's the sad trend of my life with manga. I get into a manga, and then the darn publisher who's doing it doesn't release it all. It happened with Immortal Rain. It happened with Beyond the Beyond. It happened with that one, not Tears of the Lamb. Well, Tears of the Lamb at least finished. I love that, by the way. Anything by Bonri Hidaka, I love her stuff. I love it. Tears of the Lamb finished, but there was another one that she didn't finish. Vivi Rose, which was another Tokyo Pop one. And I love Vivi Rose, and they never finished releasing it. And I'm very, very upset about that. Paradise Kiss was a really good manga. I love Paradise Kiss. Another one that I don't know if it quite finished. It sort of petered out. It sort of got weird, but I liked it regardless because it was just a very weird, disturbing. There's this manga called Reiko the Zombie Shop, and it is very gory, and it is very unpleasant at times, and it is not a nice manga, and there's so many trigger warnings for that manga, I swear. It's like child murder. Yeah, that trigger list is gonna be like a mile long. It is messed up stuff. I love it, to be honest. It's basically Pokemon with zombies.
Oh.
Like they can summon zombies, and it's just, the zombies are so cool. One of them's got like this chicken and Iron Maiden, and she can shoot spikes out. That's so cool. And it's very messed up though. And the plot goes a little wonky near the end, but I really liked the concept. I give you a clue how messed up this manga is. It still makes me laugh, but it's still sort of like, this is very un-PC. There's this one girl who, when she's summoning her zombie for the first time, you don't know what she has, you just know she can do it. But she's summoning it, and she's basically like saying, like, please don't be the one, please don't be that one, please don't be the one. She summons a Nazi. And she's like, and the funny thing is, like, when they summon these zombies, they basically are asking Satan to help them. And when it pops up, she's like, Satan, come on! I said, please! I'm just like, this is so absurd. I can't help but laugh. So yeah, but I do like that one. That was a Central Park Media one, I think, actually, before that manga company one. That was a great time in my life because my sister worked with a guy who worked with that company, and he'd bring a bunch of free manga for his brother, and once his brother took his pick, my sister brought everything else to me, so I got so much free manga. I got like titles that nobody really pays attention to that were really good, actually. Like Swan, which was a ballerina manga, Moonchild, which was this very interesting sort of take on The Little Mermaid, but it was more like they were aliens, and they were it had a very, what was that old manga slash LVA? Please Save My Earth kind of feel to it. So I like that. Currently, I love Yotsuba, and it's still thankfully coming out, but I love anything Yotsuba related because it's just so cute and slice of lifey, and I love it. I could go on for a very long time about manga that I love to death. Island's Korean. It's good. It's also very gory and very, very violent, but Island is a great one, and that one actually finished, thank God. So yeah, next question. I could go on for a long time about manga. Yes?
What type of characters do you like to act as, or like voice? Like, for example, like, are you more into voicing characters like James from League, or like Lisbeth from SAO? Because they're very different. So like, do you have like a preference in that, or does it not really matter?
It depends. I mean, honestly, I like acting, so it's sort of like, I like doing whatever. I mean, Jinx is a comfort zone for me because for some reason that's my typecast. I do well with crazy people. to be fair, it's very fun to play crazy because it's very, very cathartic and just nice to Nick. Freaking Midari from, Kakegurui is just like, no, hashtag Midari is no chill. It's just like, it was a very fun role and a very intense role, and also a role where it's like the first time where I just didn't have, where my instinct to go, that sounded weird, can we take it again? Hardly ever happened, because with her, it worked. But it's nice to play whatevs, and sometimes it's nice to go against type too, because like then that's like, ooh, a challenge as an actor to make my acting instincts, that sort of thing. But I do have that sense sometimes when it's like a character I don't normally get to try. That was kind of Midari too, because she's very low in my range, and I don't normally get to go low in my range. So it was nice to have that opportunity to be like, I can do this, guys, cool. So yeah. It's nice to go against type too, because you're sort of this like, I do like playing crazy though. It's fun. It is fun. It's just because it's just something I'm good at for some reason. I don't know what that says about me. Next question. Yes.
Do you read Berserk? What's your favorite arc? Or if not, what's your favorite character that's not Puck?
I have not. I haven't gotten into it yet.
Get on it.
I should. My best friend.
Right there.
My best friend is my best friend who I record at his place a lot because he has a really nice setup.
It's really, really fun.
He is a big Berserk fan, and
really fucking
I feel very sad for him because he's like, being a Berserk fan is suffering, and I'm like, it must be because the manga keeps going on hiatus. I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
You can tell in a nutshell.
He's like, yeah, I should. He's been bugging me. He's like, come watch the '90s anime with me. It's so good. I'm like, yeah, I will, because yeah, it's supposed to be really good. The '90s anime. That's a good place to start in general, anyway. If I was gonna do the anime,
Manga's way better than the anime adaptation.
I could probably steal it from him. I'm pretty sure he owns all of it. So yeah, he's my neighbor now too. So yeah, next question. Yes.
Do you know anything about like Sword Art Online 3 coming out dubbed or?
I know what everyone else knows. I'm a voice actor. I'm literally one of the last people to know. That's always so funny to me when people on Twitter ask me like, it's like, are they gonna be dubbing this, or is this coming to America? And it's just like, I have no power over that, man. I'm a freelancer. That's what actors are usually. We're freelancers. We're not the creators. We're not the ones with the creative power. We're just the ones who get to help collaborate and help make the product. I know I'm usually the last one to know if something. It's like, yeah, until they actually send out those sides or cast me, I know nothing. Because it's not like the studio gets a hold of us and like, hey, this might be coming. But nah, I'm usually one of the last people to know. Next question. Yes.
If two of your characters were real, which one would you want to be friends with, and which one would you want to kill?
Let me think here. God, it's coming to a point where there's like so many characters in my head. Just trying to think.
Neferpitou.
Oh God. Let's think here. I probably want to be friends with Lisbeth because she's just all around nice, and I always liked her for the fact that she's just very on. I loved how she took the whole Kirito thing. I loved how mature she was about it. That was good. But also Sayaka, totally Sayaka, because I always wanted to give her a hug and be like, it's cool. It all worked out in the end for the most part. It's good. Probably need to kill Neferpitou because.
Yeah.
I love how the thing rules apply to Neferpitou. No spoilers, but it's sort of like you need to burn the body when you're done. Don't just leave it. Like, cause it's yeesh. So yeah. Next question.
How much of what you do in the recording studio is improv versus what's actually scripted?
It's just like, it depends. Like, with anime, you generally cannot improv because they have those lines specifically written to match that flap. So you can't be adding or taking away words because otherwise it's gonna end too soon or it's not gonna work. So generally anime, you cannot improv at all. Also usually with most games, I work on most JRPGs, I can't really, a lot of games you can't improv too much either because the line you're looking at is also going to be the subtitle for the line as they're spoken. You know, a lot of games have the text boxes and you see the line as they're saying it. So you can't really deviate from that because then they have to change the line in the game. So occasionally I can get away with it, but usually it's better to stick to the script. I mean, you can add other ways to improv, like you can add a breath or you can add like a little laugh and they can get away with that without having to add more text. When it comes to animation, there can be a lot more improving because normally those scripts are not set in stone and they're not going to have subtitles running around that are going to be, So with and half the time, a lot of the time when I've gone to do animation anyway, I usually have to come in and do pickups later because they're like, hey, we changed this line, so let's do it this way instead, or we added something. And certain video games that aren't JRPGs, I can get away with a little bit of line changing too. I know there was, I worked on a game called Kane, which was a horror game, and it's free on Steam, by the way. I liked it, enjoyed it. It was like a Kickstarter thing where they managed to do and in that one I requested occasionally, I was just like, can I make this more casual, because it's just the way it seems like she speaks. Can I make this a contraction? So it kind of depends. I did a commercial at one point where they were specifically like, here's the script, but go ahead and improv and do whatever you want with it. And it was that was a lot of fun because I was just making up stuff and riffing off my partner who was reading with me. And so that was a lot of fun to be able to just be like, oh, I can sort of just take it in my own direction. Okay, cool. So yeah.
Next question. Anybody? Whatever you want to ask. Within reason. Maybe a little bit. I have 2 signing times tomorrow, and people are allowed to ask for pictures during the signing stuffs. Might be better then, just because I think after this, Spike's coming in, right? Yeah, I might have to clear out after, because Spike's coming in to do his panel. But tomorrow, I have, I think 11,
12.
I have signings, and then maybe 3 to 4 as well. So yeah, and I always let people take pics if they want. So that. You can ask me about wrestling too. I really like wrestling. This question comes up sometime, and I like talking about it. Huh?
What kind of wrestling?
Oh, mostly WWE, but New Japan Pro is amazing. And I really need to watch Lucha Underground if it's still on Netflix, because that's something we were supposed to be doing. Our friend was gonna do a Lucha Underground marathon where basically he was gonna open up his house and we would start watching, and he would just keep watching it, and if we had to leave and go home and sleep, that's cool, but then we come back whenever we want and start up again. It's just gonna be round the clock. We have not gotten to that yet. I'd like to do it. Yes.
All right, what's your favorite all-time wrestler and your favorite current active wrestler, WWE or in general?
Keep in mind though, I've only started watching since I became a fan officially during Extreme Rules 2016. So I'm very new to this game.
Oh.
It's easier to go, because so all of my faves are new, in terms of my mind. Top 3 are definitely in this order, by the way. Definitely Jack Gallagher, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro. Actually, switch Cesaro to Sami Zayn, but I like them both. That's just, the guys. There's a lot to love. So yeah.
Keep on the same train. If you only been how do you go from WWE to watching these New Japan Pro Wrestling, Lucha Underground within a few years?
I forget. I got on it because, again, my roommate Eric's been watching it since the Attitude Era, so he's the one who got me started. Because I didn't get it at all. I was that person that's like, it's not real? Oh, it's not supposed to be real, okay, but then why
Scripted.
are they, well, it's good you like it, that's cool. And he's like, okay, hang on, Sarah, but hang on, look at these guys. And he shows me the New Day. And I'm like, oh, these guys are funny, jeez, just the skit stuff, the talks, and it's like, well, I like watching them talk because they're really fun to watch. He's like, okay. He's like, okay. And now check out Enzo and Cass real quick. I'm like, oh, they're funny too. Kind of miss Enzo, but also, how that went down. And slowly but surely, I was sort of like, well, the talking stuff's a lot of fun. And then, Extreme Rules came around, and our friend Shannon hosts those PPVs at his place, and everyone goes and like watches together. And I'm like, I'll go hang out and watch, because at least I'll go hang out with friends, so whatevs. And I loved it. I basically was sold when Sami Zayn grabbed Cesaro, flipped over his shoulders, and powerbombed him on his back, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, oh my god. So from there I was sold, and then I only learned about New Japan from my roommate because he started showing me Kenny Omega. And I was like, who's this guy? I've never seen him in the WWE. He's like, no, he's New Japan. I was like, wait, what's New Japan? There's more? It's like, what? He's showing me the Young Bucks, showing me, we went. This was last year, I think, during AX, because we didn't have anything to do at AX, and I didn't want to go to AX because it was a nightmare and crowded. And that was the first in Long Beach. They were having the first time New Japan ever came to America, and me and him were just like, to hell with AX, we're gonna see New Japan. It was like so cool. And that was just wrestling. I was like, wow, every single match was amazing. It's good stuff. Yeah.
So just one more question. For starters, I was staffing AX, so I couldn't go to those shows, and I was really disappointed.
It was good stuff.
I really missed it.
It was really good.
But one more question. Did you see the series of matches, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada?
Most of them. Like, I believe we saw the first one, and then we saw the second one. I think I watched all three. There were three, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we watched all three. It's like, how do these men go for an hour at that pace and still look amazing? It's insanity. It was great. I'm loving it. I want to see more New Japan stuff because it's a little harder to watch that. Next question. Yes.
I'm not sure if since you just came back and since you just started in 2016 watching wrestling, but what are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan and him coming back because he's been gone for a while?
Because that was something I missed. Because again, I only got into it last year, and I missed CM Punk.
Yeah.
I missed Daniel Bryan. And my roommate Eric especially is a big fan of Daniel Bryan, and he told me he was great, and it was such just tragic how he had to stop, and then he came back to the GM, and I'm like, well, cool, at least he could see Daniel's this like, oh my god, he's gonna wrestle again? I was like, I kind of feel like I'm seeing history here. This is so cool. So I'm very happy that I sort of get to see that, and I thought I totally missed out on it, because it is kind of special to see how genuinely happy he is to be back. It's a very, that weird skirting of wrestling between reality and sort of the acting, but in its night, and when the reality shines through, and you just see this guy who's just like, I'm so glad to be back. It's just like, oh, my heart. So yeah.
Next question.
We can talk about more voiceover stuff. I've been a gamut of wrestling for a while.
What are some of your favorite lines you've done while voice acting?
Oh god, a lot. Yeah, there's always like they generally are the lines that I use to get back into character. I know when I was doing Witch in the 100 Night, which is one of my very favorite roles because it was my first video game lead, and I love Natalia to death. I recall there was a line where, and a lot of people don't get to see this line because there's a choice you have to make beforehand to get the line to trigger, and a lot of people don't do it. But it's basically a line akin to, what's the line? It's like, where on that tiny body are you hiding balls big enough to sneak into my bed? It's like, I love that line so much. So yeah. And I think there was what was that show? I think there was this line in Yuki Yuna that I really liked. It was very deadpan because it's just a cute little beach scene, and they're packing up for the day, and the main character's just like, oh, I'm so hungry, and the other character says, well, you can just chew on Karen's arm, and Karen's my character, and Karen's like, don't do that, and of course the main character just goes, ah, and I'm just, and completely deadpan, it's just like, you seriously did not just do that. I just loved how deadpan it was, and I was like, that was a good take. I liked it. So there's that. the blonde game, blonde versus zombies, because it broke the fourth wall very hard, where one of the characters, her name's Pishi, she's this tiny little cute, this adorable little cute girl, and she transforms into her goddess form, and she has huge tracts of land when she does. And the thing is, when my character transforms, she's already relatively, I mean, I think like maybe an A cup. When she transforms, she flattens even further. And also the main character, Blonde, is also a little bit flatter. And so those two characters like see this and they're like, what the hell is this? And you know, Blonde's like, what are those things? They're obscene. And my character's just basically like, I know when you transform, you're supposed to get enhanced, but I don't get that. I shrink. She just screams like, why is this series so mean to me? It's like, oh, my heart. It's so funny, but also tragic. I think there was a similar line in Asterix War, where my character gets wet and, you know, see-through, and she's not wearing any undergarments, and the main girl is just like, are you not wearing anything underneath? And my character's just like, well, there's no reason to. I have nothing to support. Just nothing sad about it. She's just like, that's just the way it is. I think it was like, how tragic. I have nothing to hide. So yeah, there's a few. A few favorites. Next question. Yes. Depends. I am like most voice actors and actors in general. I'm a freelancer, and with freelance work, it depends if you get the gig or not. And sometimes it's like it's odd. Sometimes I can have no sessions at all during the week, but I'm still super busy because I'm getting a bunch of auditions, so I have to record for those. Sometimes I don't have a lot to do at all, and sometimes that's nice if you've had a really busy week and you're just like, oh, cool, I get a week where I don't have to worry about anything. But also slightly nerve-wracking because in the back of your mind you're going, why am I not getting any auditions? Why am I not doing any sessions? Do they not want me anymore? What's going on? What's going on? Why? Is it slow for everyone? And I mean, the past week was pretty intense because I did a lot. Because I also still work a 40-hour work week on the side from home. So I have a side full-time job on top of my voiceover, and it can be a little difficult to balance that, though I still make it work. And this last week was pretty intense because it was like session every single day almost, which is good. It's good to be working, but also just sort of like, I wish I had more free time. So it depends, but it's good to be busy. And now that I have an agent, it's busier because now I have a steady stream of auditions coming in, and that's nice. But also busy. It depends. Yes?
So what is your 40-hour job?
I moderate, well, it started as moderating a kids forum for like a kid website, and my job is just basically this thing of make sure these kids don't say inappropriate things, make sure they're being polite to each other. It's a lot of just deleting posts basically, because you know, you got these kids being like, I'm gonna be edgy and curse, and I'm like, delete. I'm gonna post an outside link to something that I'm not supposed to. Delete. You know, I'm gonna be a jerk and personally attack another player. Delete. It was a lot of that mostly, just basically because, you know, and I've learned to hate children a tiny bit because of this thing, at least anonymous children, because it's like, thank God they don't know how to troll properly. I could teach these kids a thing or two about properly trolling this site. I could. It's a thing, if I wanted to quit this job in style, I would get that list that I know that they have of like the worst offenders, and I would email them and I'd be like, okay, look, kid, you want to really mess with the moderators? This is how you do it, because you guys are pathetic. I mean, yeah, it's changed though. Actually, I can't do that now because it has changed because we nixed the forums completely. So I don't have that job anymore. So now I do customer service, which is different and not as bad in some ways, but also more busy in other ways. But basically now my job is people emailing us and being like, I've lost my account, I want a refund for this. And now it's my job to be like, all right, this is, you know, here's your account back. we need you to do this, here's your refund information, I'll send that to billing. That's basically my job now. It's monotonous but easy, but also, again, the scheduling is nice because I work in afternoons and I can do voiceover in the late, early afternoon to morning. So, I don't technically need the job, but I live in LA, and I would like to build that surplus of money as long as I can, because you never know. And I'd like to get my own apartment at some point, so I'm gonna hold on to that job as long as I can, just to keep building my nest and making sure that I have a nice, solid safety net, so that when I do quit, and if voiceover goes a little dry for a while, it's okay, because I still have a nice little surplus here that's gonna support me. 101 on if you want to be in the entertainment industry in any respects, especially in LA or New York, try to get a nice surplus of money before you move, because it's slow. It's super slow at first for a lot of people, and you want to make sure you have that safety net, so it's like, it's okay if it's slow, because financially, I can still survive. So yeah, I should have done more than what I did before I moved out to LA, but thankfully my parents were very supportive. So that was lucky. Yeah, 4 minutes, so I can take like maybe one longish question or maybe 2 short questions, however you want to do it. Yes.
What were some roles that you turned down and regret doing?
Roles that I turned down that I regretted turning down?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a case of turning down a role that I regretted later. I don't think I have. Because I have definitely turned down roles, but as of yet, there's yet to be a role that I regretted turning down later. Because usually I have a pretty good grasp of whether or not I feel like that role's gonna be worth it. There's been auditions I had to turn down that I do regret. That's more of a case though, like I had to do it 2 weeks ago where they were like, because my vacation I'm going on vacation next week. And usually when auditions come to me, they usually say, we're gonna be recording now, at this point. And unfortunately, I've been getting a couple auditions that are recording right when I'm out of town, and everything's already booked, and I can't really cancel that stuff now unless it was like a job that was like gonna be insane amounts of money. And so there's a couple auditions where I'm like, hey, this is right during my time when I said I was gonna be gone, should I probably not submit in that case? And they're like, yeah, in this case you probably shouldn't. So I was like, all right. That's the case where I regret it, because it's like, oh man, I wanted to audition for that. But but if I'm actually actively turning down a role being offered to me, like, this is your part, we're gonna pay you for it, it has to, then usually when I turn that down, I've not regretted it, because there's something about it that's like, I don't feel good about this, and this is something I'm not cool with, so. They're kind of few and far between, though, when that happens. Yeah, so that's usually the case. One more quick question, I think. Yes?
How was your flight over?
It was fine, actually. I managed to actually sleep a lot of that first 4 hour of it, which was nice. And yeah, I don't fly a lot with American, but it went all right. This is good. I got here on time, my baggage is good, people were polite, I'm cool with this. So yeah, and yeah, also just slept. Probably get one more quick question. Is it?
Me?
What was your favorite part of the 21 documentary series? Would you voice like the movies, the main part, or what?
Probably just seeing, probably the third movie when I got to see how Sayaka had matured and how she was just like, I'm so proud. I'm so happy for you after things went down and you're just doing great. And just like, I loved this scene with her and Homoda because it was just like, ha, now I get to be the mysterious person and you get to be all confused. Suck on it, Homoda. Just like, yes, this is so good, this is so good. So yeah, and I think that's about it. All right, I think that's about time. Thank you guys for coming. I've got another panel tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then
after that, I have hour of signing, and there may be another hour of signing at 3 to 4, and then I think Jackbox games panel at 9. So yeah,